Sandoval's podcast, Going Rogue. Why don't you understand it? Because
I understand she's talking. It's not a knock. I understand she's talking about mental health and Vanderpump Rules, but eventually, like, I mean, she can't be talking about like Vanderpump Rules and what Tom did to her in 2 years on episode like 1,000. Can she? I mean, are we gonna just be like the fifth date I ever had with Tom? It just is reminding me now that he did this. I mean, is that
yeah,
it's
I
no
actually think,
shade. It's no shade. I just don't understand it. That's all. You think she can just keep this
yeah,
going for a couple of years?
I think
Okay.
as long, I mean, look, I mean, we're hearing from Tom Sandoval, that former assistant. They have a top podcast now. We signed an NDA, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they know that much? I mean, is that? But I mean, when it's a top show, you see, that's why you've seen all these podcasts pop up about, oh, True Detective podcast and look, I have a Sister Wives podcast. I mean, there's a reason people are curious about every little detail. And so, yeah, I think as long as the show is on, I might be eating crow and she may have a top podcast.
Okay. I mean, you and me both will be eating crow then.
What about, so let's like jump through some of these scenes because I'm also curious what
Yeah.
you think. So Ariana and Katie sit down and do liquid IVs. The liquid IV just grosses me out. I know, I should do it because I get horrible hangovers,
I've
but
done it in the Hamptons
I
this
hate
past summer.
it.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Does it work? It doesn't, didn't, I don't, I had the worst hangover and I've done it a couple times this summer in the Hamptons. I didn't see it working. That's just me. Just me. Didn't really work for me.
All
But
right.
yes.
So there you have it. Then, and my husband was watching this morning with me. He says that Tom Sandoval, he does feel is playing the victim in this whole thing. He thinks the Billy Lee scene is to gain sympathy. My husband said he's very sympathetic to anyone having suicidal thoughts, but he thinks that, that Tom is very good at getting LVP on his side. And then we move into, because this is like for the second half.
Closing and well, that scene with first of all, I was like, wow, we're getting a lot of LVP this episode. That's a lot of LVP.
A lot of
Like
LVP.
LVP is like, let me show up and like make, look, she's also the producer, right? So like she knows what she's doing in this scene and he brings her flowers. But yeah, I mean, he said that he has had, I mean, I also love when she said, like, darling, I don't understand. Be a man. And like, and I also love Tom just yelling at Lisa, just like he doesn't fucking care. Like he's just like outraged, or she's like, darling, like move out of the house and be a man. And he's like, no, you don't understand. And he's like, we already offered her money and I'm not leaving my house. And she's like, but be a gentleman. And he's like, it's my house too, girl. I love when he gets nasty with Lisa. But
Well, then we also move into, because Nema Van, famously of Shahs of Sunset, kind of
oh
takes over.
yes.
He's like a thread for the second half of the episode.
Oh.
So what did you make of hearing Nema Van's name again? I've actually had Nema Van on my podcast. Have you interviewed Nema Van?
We
And
have tried. We've tried at some point. I mean, I've had a Gigi, which is kind of coming up, I guess. Mercedes and Tommy. We haven't had Nema. It's like I can get Mercedes and Gigi on this podcast, but not you, dude. Pass.
yeah,
Um,
okay, wow. I feel like this is the only time I've ever scooped Deontif.
but
But
it's not like we've tried so hard, but I mean we've tried. Yeah, Nema Van. So he dated Raquel back in the day, and now it comes out that this is why I think Tom like does have feelings for her, because he's like, listen, Scheana, you didn't need to like, go in and like, give your like, you know, like Nema, I guess, detail the sexual positions that Raquel liked and what they did in bed. And Tom just was very upset listening to all the hot sex that Nema. Listen, Nema and Raquel, that's some hot sex, right? That's hot, girl. No? Sarah's thinking about this. You don't think Nema's cute?
Asher
Like,
is a pass.
oh,
It's a pass for me.
really?
I
I,
don't, I don't, no.
I mean, out of the gentlemen that have been on Shaw's, if I compare him to Reza, and Adam and Mike. Oh my God. I would take Nema
All right,
over
all
any
right.
of the gentlemen I just mentioned. Nema to me is the most attractive. Shaw, if you
Okay, fair
will,
enough. I
is a
give him that
gentleman.
crown. 100%, I give him that crown. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
So I wouldn't mind. I mean, you know, an
No,
hour with Nema wouldn't be bad.
do you think it was a betrayal for Scheana, though, to have Nema on her podcast? They go into, to your point, great detail about the sex, and that Tom Sandoval had told Ariana, told Rachel, I'm in an open relationship with Ariana. And, I mean, what
Well,
did you make of?
Nema, right. Nema is saying that Ariana said Tom and I are open, which, oh no. Nema is saying that Raquel said, what's the big deal? Because Tom and Ariana are open. And Tom is like, what? That's a lie. But okay, well, as Tom said to Scheana when he pulled her out in the back alley and was sitting there kissing her ass about her look from the Matrix or whatever the fuck it is, Y2K, he was like, I understand a podcast is for money. And I'm like, ding, that one, ding, 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 ding. Door number two, ding, 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 ding. He's like, so I get it. So, I say here all the time to the rats, that Scuddies. Why? I know you're in the corner, Tamara, having your Gouda, but why did you block me, girl? I called you a rat that scurries. It's not that big a deal. It's just a day at the office, darling. Sarah's making a face on you too.
We've we've made ongoing content about her being called a rat that scurries. And then, when you look at her, you can't help but see that she's like rat-like features. I mean, it's not the most I'm not sure if I would be like liking your posts and you
I didn't.
open.
I didn't come up with the word Tamrat. So all these wonderful listeners did. They started calling her Tamrat way before I think the damn microphone was even turned on. I just think I'm like, wow, how brilliant for all the nicknames that we like to give people. Tam Raw, and just add a T, rat. It's kind of brilliant. So I didn't make it up. But so I feel when Tom said, I understand a podcast is for money, I'm like, ding, 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 that one. Why can't we just separate that? She had Nema on as a on-brand guest,
All right.
and he had some things to say about dating Miss Leviss. Look, if Nema were on this podcast, I would have asked him about dating Raquel. I mean, I would have been like, maybe. I mean, I asked Harry Dubin who was better in bed, Sonia Morgan or Luann. So, I mean, that's a pretty low question to say about
Oh,
like.
I've been way lower. I just had a woman that sells her farts in a jar.
I
Like,
heard about that. I
and
heard about that.
talked about wiping her butthole with a rose petal and then putting it in the jar. I mean, I can go
Well,
much lower.
that's just disgusting. Mine, they say I'm
Ah,
misogynistic. I'm misogynistic. I don't like women. Because I
yeah,
asked
you
Harry,
do. No, that was because you dropped the C bomb, but I didn't think that was
oh,
a
is
big deal.
that why?
You've never
Oh,
been misogynistic to me. Get over yourself. I mean, come on.
seriously.
Last night on
It's the
Vanderpump
woke
Rules,
mob calling the woke mob.
last night
Yes.
on Vanderpump Rules, they have a see you next Tuesday night. They have a cunt night. Like, give me a break. Nobody cares about that word. In every other country but ours, people are very stuffy here. We're from the pure